What's up, everyone, and welcome to the first ever conversation style video on Mic Check Gaming. This is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. I really wanted to have a informal way of talking about things with people, and I decided that the first episode should be on none other than Destiny 2 because I think there's a lot to say about it right now. I partnered up with a friend, BigDaddyTeej, all-around cool guy, knows a lot about Destiny 2, and I think we filmed something really special, and I hope you guys stick around to the end. If you want more of this, please hit that like button, let me know in the comments. I'd like to thank Teej for hosting the web call and recording for me because my recording software didn't work. But other than that, I'm just going to let this play. There's nothing to watch. You can just put it on in the background. It's just B-roll Destiny footage, so nothing special that you'll miss. But I'm just going to let it roll. So enjoy, folks.
So I feel like, and judging by watching you and seeing your tweets and reading everything, that you and I are both Destiny apologists.
Is that the name we've adopted now?
You know,
we used to be loyalists, and now we're just the sorry bastards.
Now it's like, you know, it's not that bad, guys. Just hang in there. So I think we try to see the brighter side of things. We try and hold out hope. We try and convince people it's not that bad. It's gotten hard recently. I'm sure really you're aware. And it's kind of been a really I don't know if it's as steep as I've realized, but I feel like Age of Triumph and Destiny 1 was the high point of Destiny as a series. Yeah. Destiny 2 launched with a lot of fanfare, a lot of actually pretty good critical praise, and then a month or two into it, it was like, oh, that's it. There's nothing really else here, and It's kind of been slowly downhill since then. So would you agree with that statement, or?
I would. I think that's totally true. I think okay, maybe hold on. I think Age of Triumph was the best culmination of everything Destiny 1 brought to the table. I think that Taken King was still the best Destiny 1 experience that you could get if you just picked up the game. If I had to tell somebody who's never played Destiny, when was the best time for me to have played, I still would say Taken King to pick up at that point. Because I think Age of Triumph was the best thing for the veterans. But didn't quite, if you tried to explain Age of Triumph and why it was great to somebody who'd never played Destiny, they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
But I think with Destiny 2, I think that, you're absolutely right. It launched with a ton of fanfare, and the critical praise, I think it earned. I think it was merited. I thought the campaign was phenomenal.
Agreed.
I think that the PvP initially, from beta tests into the initial starts of the first couple weeks of Trials of the 9, and, getting into this... I'll call it the team shot meta, which it or love it. That's Destiny 2's PvP. I don't mind it. I mean, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, more later. But I think that it definitely earned all the praise that it got, and I like that it got all that praise. I think that the biggest issue that it faced was that, I hate to be the guy that jumps on the bandwagon here, but as somebody who loves Destiny and will always love Destiny, I do feel like Bungie traded my loyalty for a larger audience, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously game company, make money, all that, want to get more people involved, but it seemed like every single addition that the live team did was left behind, and for no reason. And that's what they built the Destiny 1 audience off of, was live team make additions, they make improvements, they listen to the community and add things like that, and then all of that was gone from Destiny 2, and nobody seems to know why.
Do you want to know what I think it is, to be totally honest with you? If I had to guess. Yes. Because obviously, let's be real, nobody really knows except for Bungie, but I think that if I had to guess, I would say that somehow... when the live team was doing all those incredible updates, when things like the April update and Chroma and an Eververse that people looked forward to existed, when those, do you remember the first Crimson days when we saw a Hotline Bling emote and everyone was like, take my money, I will buy it, I don't care how much it costs.
People threw, and that, and the the ghosts, the chocolate ghost,
And the ghosts!
and the other
Yes!
ghost, and like things that you could actually grind for, and you know, good times.
So I think that when they were doing all those great things and putting in all those awesome updates, and we were getting things like rotating weekly rolls on vendor weapons, and just those all those little quality of life things that we all love. The kiosks all around the tower.
I miss those so bad.
Right, the Amanda Holiday ship key. Holy crap! I like.
Yep.
If they ever introduce that and they don't retroactively grant all the crap I've had to delete, I might be a little bummed out about that. Anyway, I think that what probably happened was that Jimmy, we're going to call him Jimmy because that's the hypothetical name of every poor employee in all corporations everywhere.
Love it.
Jimmy didn't email the Destiny 2 team to let them know what was happening. And Destiny 2 team was working off of knowledge that Jimmy emailed them in 2014 with Vanilla Destiny.
Yeah.
And then the only email they got from Jimmy right around like the peak of Destiny 2's development cycle was, hey, everything's great in Destiny 1. Just keep doing what you're doing. The community's really excited. And somewhere all of that great stuff seemed to have been lost in translation and just did not make its way, because obviously it's unrealistic of us to think that Destiny 2's development didn't start until Age of Triumph ended. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, don't be dumb, right? Like, people that are like, well, they had all this in Age of Triumph. Well, that doesn't mean they weren't building other things in Destiny 2. And, like, somebody just didn't pass along that information. Like, hey, by the way, our Reddit isn't on fire, and it's because of Age of Triumph.
Yeah, and Bungie itself grew bigger over the years, especially leading up towards Destiny 2 development. And then they brought on Vicarious Visions to help them, and a third studio that I can't remember. And I'm sure trying to balance all of that.
Who was it? High Moon?
High Moon.
The
Yep,
Deadpool
High Moon.
people, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And, you put you work on this, we'll work on this, and then nobody tells them to, look at Destiny 1 and bring over what was good about it. So, yeah, blame it all on Jimmy, man.
Jimmy,
he screwed us over here.
He did. Jimmy ruined it. But no, I think honestly, too, before we dive too deep into that, I want to make sure that I make clear on my own personal stance that I am not nearly as upset about the state of Destiny 2 as the majority of players.
Yeah.
And maybe that means that you think I'm part of the problem and now you don't like this video anymore, but that's, it is what it is. I don't want to sit here and say that I'm so mad that I'm going to not play, because that's just it's not true. It's
right. Yeah.
I still have fun. I played on Saturday and I loved it. I played Crucible, just regular old Crucible, and I had a blast doing it. I just think that I wish that there were things that were in the game that aren't, but I'm actually okay with a game not being its predecessor.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, I don't mind, for example, the weapon. That's the hot topic right now. People are, well, they should just go back to the primary special heavy. Yeah. And, like, I don't agree. I do agree that it sucks having 9 archetypes in one weapon slot. Like, yes. I totally get that, and I think that that's an unfortunate side effect of a better weapon structure.
Yes.
But I love having a hand cannon and a pulse rifle, or an auto rifle and a scout rifle, or a submachine gun and a sidearm at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that falls under like invalid criticism that people are throwing at this game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help anything to further along the conversation or help developers understand what we want, because that's never going to happen. It's never going to go back to primary special heavy.
I agree.
I agree that I like where it's at right now. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. It's a point that people need to just kind of accept and move on to from.
What would you think of having like and this, I hate to say it like this because this is not the solution I'm suggesting, but a esque solution of like the 4th weapon slot?
Okay, what would that look like? Would it be like what special used to be, or
kind of
combination of things?
I think what it is to me is it's a second energy slot.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by that is I don't necessarily mean a 3rd pulse rifle. or like I don't
Right.
think that's what it is. But I think like, okay, so you get all this talk about we want shotguns to come back, we want snipers to come back, right? Those are the two big ones. Like nobody's
absolutely.
really saying that about rockets, grenade launchers, and swords, and all, whatever.
Right.
But like people want I personally, I would love a reason to use a sniper rifle again. I love sniper rifles. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them. And I miss them because I only really have fun with them never. So
Exactly.
even in PvE, like I don't really find myself whipping out my old sniper.
Yeah, I can't think of one instance in the last 6 months when I've used a sniper.
No. So I think that like I would love a way to integrate not having to redo the weapon structure, but still making me not have to pick between a sniper and a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, right? Because rocket launchers are so good right now.
They're so good.
And they're in such a great spot where you feel that's probably the single weapon where you feel powerful as a Guardian using, because it wrecks everything.
I agree.
And you don't want to lose that to it getting nerfed, so snipers feel better.
Yep.
And they're never going to put it I don't know how you can buff a sniper unless it's single target damage. It already one-shots, trash mobs, and a headshot will kill a Guardian in PvP. So that balance can't really come about unless, maybe you do something like that, find a fourth weapon slot for it.
What would you think about integrating? Okay, tell me if this doesn't make sense, because I want to clarify it so it does make sense. And I'm sorry that I'm vomiting my brainchild on you right now.
I love it.
Okay, so what about this? What if you take shotguns and snipers only? Okay. That's it. Just those two types of weapons. And you put them as able to be equipped in either the energy or the power slot.
Ooh. Okay.
So now you have the situation where if you still want to rock, now let me tell you, my Crucible loadout right now is Anti-OD, Uriel's Gift. Yep. And typically Deadpan Delivery, I would say, is my shotgun in the lower slot. Although the Iron Banner Slug shotgun has been so memely fun that I've been doing that too much lately. Yeah. But okay, so then now I have this choice to make, right? Where I really want to use a rocket. I want to use rocket. I got it. And I'm thinking specifically PvP here.
Yes.
So now I don't want to have to. I can deal without using Anti-OD, right? We're on a big map. We're playing on Vostok. Okay. Yeah. Do Vostok, Anti-OD, not going to cut it on Vostok.
No,
so,
not at all.
I'll throw in Origin Story, right? Drip my Origin Story. I'll put on my favorite new scout that I just started trying this week, even though it's been in my vault for years, Manananan. I love it. It's amazing.
Okay.
And then in that last slot, maybe I want to have my rocket. But then I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm getting wrecked.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to try to snipe, but I don't want to give up that rocket slot. Right. Is there a way for me to integrate like a Copperhead light sniper instead of the scout rifle?
Right.
And still have, I don't know. Like does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I get you.
Like let me put it.
Because.
But then how do you do ammo? Like what goes into your sniper rifle and what goes into your rocket launcher? Because you can't obviously pick up both. That'd be super lame and cheating.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
We can fantasize all we want about how to work it, but Bungie has a vision for their product, and I still trust them to make good decisions for their game. But that trust is it's not broken, but it's less so now, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. Yeah, I see it.
They're getting better, and I think the roadmap that they released in January was a huge help for a lot of people. They laid out all those big updates. They had the January, February, March update, and then the May Season 3 thing that's coming out or whatever. And have you raided since the new raid armor mods have come out?
I love Destiny. No, I have not raided since the raid armor mods have come out. I can't get a group, man. Like that's the biggest problem. That's not that I don't want to.
I've raided one time since then, and holy crap, they're actually something. Like
they work.
They work, and
that's so
I
nice.
wanted to kind of write them off as being lame, but especially that
As being
25%
mods, you
ability
mean?
buff. Yeah, right. The mod system that nobody cares about at all.
You want to write them off as being what they are?
You know, and I think that was a good step in the right direction because you want something that is people wanted abilities on armor. You know, the
Yep.
ones that in Destiny 1, you know, King's Fall, if you had the brand, you run faster.
Yep. Maybe the best set of armor for any raid.
Agreed. You know, I don't know, and that doesn't seem like that was a live team thing. So why leave that out of Destiny 2?
I don't know.
But this, I think this is a step in the right direction, and you know they're fun, and it's actually making me want to raid more because I don't have the entire set of armor.
Cool.
But to your point, I can't get a team together. So,
have you ever prestige rated?
Not in Destiny 2.
No, I haven't either.
So no.
No.
I hard mode rated in Destiny 1 all the time.
I did too.
You know, it's where we're at, unfortunately.
It's tough, man. And I'm not going to LFG it. Like, I'm just not, because, like,
yeah.
I love Leviathan. I think it's a fantastic raid, and I don't think it deserves the criticism of not being ultra boss heavy, like people say, because I think that there's a lot of merit and fun in solving puzzles and overcoming team-related challenges as a group. But what I do miss more than anything is getting my clan together and taking on those hard mode challenges and just go until 4 or 5 in the morning on a Saturday.
Right.
And everybody just like, one more. I'm not tired. I just opened a Red Bull. I just made a pot of coffee. Like, let's keep going. And there's just not that, there's that drive that's missing. I don't have the social, I don't get social gratification from Destiny 2 in the way that I did from Destiny 1.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's too bad because raiding is one of the most unique experiences I've ever encountered in gaming.
Yep.
And especially, and everyone goes back to the, you know, Vault of Glass Destiny 1 moment where, you know, you take down Atheon the first time and you're like, holy crap, that was freaking awesome. And
it was awesome.
It was so cool. And when I did Leviathan the first time, we jumped in blind and everybody knows getting 6 dudes together with different schedules is hard enough, and you know, we it took us several tries, several gaming you know, increments to actually get to Callus and finally down him. But when we beat him, it was like that Vault of Glass moment for us. You know, we were all cheering and waking up, you know, people's parents and dogs barking and stuff, and I love that about it, and I think Leviathan's a great raid, and I also don't mind the new raid structure with a raid layer every DLC. I think it's too much to ask for everything we want, and then on top of that, asking for another Leviathan.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think, you know, the what is it, Eater of Worlds is a fun.
It's ultra fun.
It's fun, and Argos is a fun boss, and he's
maybe the best boss.
And, yeah, and it you know, when I beat him the first time, it was actually after the raid mod update, and the you know, ability buff helped, and the, you know, extra power ammo mod helped, and then sitting for me at the end of the raid layer, I get the brand new ghost on my first try.
No way.
Yep, first try.
Oh, I'm so jealous of you right
now. I can't get a group together to go try out the ghost.
Oh no!
Because nobody wants to run Leviathan with me anymore. So you know, it's good and bad, but
yeah.
I think I'm actually really excited to see what the new raid layer will be in May, and to see what prestige mode will be for Eater of Worlds. Even though I don't know if I'll get a team together for that, but
do you think that? And I would never post this on Twitter. Like, I'm gonna say it because if you are listening, hopefully it means you care about what I have to say more than you care if you read it on Twitter. But do you think that when I saw what's coming in May, did you get a little inkling that some of that stuff maybe should be happening before May?
Yes.
Like the hard mode Eater of Worlds.
Yeah, and
like emote wheel.
Okay, that one. Why is that still not a thing?
I don't know. And I don't want to presume to think that it's easy. I hate that.
Agreed.
Like, just do it. Well, okay. Have you built a video game? Reddit user, Bong Ripper 420. Have you ever built a video game? You know, I don't want to judge, but there were certain things on the May list that and I forget what was the other one. I don't even have it pulled up right in front of me.
I know. I thought I screenshot it, but I can't find it. Let me see.
There was another one that I was thinking of that I went, oof, not till May for that either, huh? Okay. You know, and I always assume positive intent because that's just my personality.
Yeah.
And I know that, or at least I don't know, but I hope my assumption is that content is being held back because it needs to be perfect and awesome, and it's going to come out and be great. I guess I'm just still not over having these conversations about Destiny. Like, this is just not a thing that we as a community have to talk about.
Yeah.
It's so foreign to me still that we have these talks about, you know, being this bummed. Like, I don't know. Like, I still play. I still love it. I still love the game. I still play it all the time.
Yep.
But I'm so bummed that I have to have these conversations where I don't feel confident in the way that I did in Destiny 1. In Destiny 1, us apologists, we'd get together and everybody, everybody still play that game? I'd be like,
right.
You're the one that's missing out, bro.
Yep.
Because this game's getting better every day.
Yep.
And they kind of had that down by the end of Crota. So, I don't know.
We're going in a circle, and I never, ever thought once Destiny 2 launched that we'd be back in vanilla Destiny times.
Yep.
And having to tell people, you know, hold on, like, they're working on stuff, it'll get better. And it's tiring.
But isn't the difference that back in Destiny 1 we had PvP in a really good spot and Okay, hold on. Really good spot. Maybe
depends.
Not. Really
depends
good spot.
What do you mean?
I didn't like getting two thorned. Two-shot thorned.
Once you got the thorn, then it was
then it was my turn. Suck it, noob.
So, being a streamer, do you get any criticism for sticking with Destiny from your audience or anything?
You know, it's interesting. When Destiny launched, Destiny 2, that is, because I wasn't streaming during Destiny 1, but when Destiny 2 launched, I obviously had, really since the beginning of my stream, which is just over a year old now, so not a long time.
Okay.
You know, back in February of last year, Destiny was, I mean, Age of Triumph was not quite out, right? Right. So, you know, we were in a spot where we were pretty much done with the Rise of Iron. We'd all realized that Wrath of the Machine on hard was impossible and not worth doing. And, you know, I think the people were starting to feel like, okay, well, not much to do. Trials, kind of. Mm-hmm. But I never had lower viewership than I did when I played Destiny. And that carried pretty much all through Age of Triumph. And, I mean, my community, I always talked about Destiny. And my community knew how much I love Destiny. My channel had theming around Destiny, and I would play Destiny music, and we'd play Destiny PvP sometimes, and I had a lot of streams of just playing Destiny. And I was okay with the fact that I had lower viewership because, you know, my philosophy about my stream is I'm going to play what I want to play, and if I'm enjoying myself and I'm passionate, then my viewers will have a good time. And that's pretty much been true. But what I found recently, and this is where it's weird, is that now I get almost no criticism. I get people coming out to the channel being like, wow, this is so refreshing to find a really fun Destiny stream.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Some of my higher viewership in the last, I would say, month to 2 months has been because of Destiny 2.
Do you think that's people that are unaware of the mainstream's opinion of Destiny 2, or do you think it's people that kind of feel like Destiny 2 might be heading in a okay direction now, so they're more interested in it, or something else?
I think it's that. I think it's people that are seeing the silver lining, you know, coming, and they're looking for ways to kind of get that fix on Twitch.
Cool.
I know that I actually just recently started kind of coaching / informing one of my viewers on Destiny. He's never played, and he picked up the game recently because of like just kind of hearing about the fact that it was good and seeing how much I've enjoyed it on stream. And he's like, hey, this actually looks like a lot of fun. I need something to play. And so he's playing it. He's not endgame, but he's enamored. You know, he still has that starry, and it's so refreshing to hear his excitement about it. He'll hit me on Twitter and be, I just got this weapon to drop. Is it good? Is it? I want to know. Can you tell me? And he's pumped. And you know, I think that's really encouraging to me to hear that people that are like, when you experience Destiny 2 for the first time, and for that first, you know, maybe 40, 50 hours, it's awesome. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it, and everything's great, and PvP is fun, and you get new weapons and rewards, and you're going to all these fun places, and you play a great story, and there's cutscenes, and and then you get to that brick wall, and you start to, you know, burn out like a lot of people have. But I think that the other segment of people that are coming to stream right now are people like us that just want to get away from the negativity and the toxicity. And they just want to come out and hang out in a chill stream where we're just going to laugh at the stuff that Destiny 2 is and does and have fun with what's there, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, appreciate what it is right now.
Right. And if that means that I get shot behind a wall because of tick rate, or if it means that I, you know, still don't know the actual range of a slug round shotgun and get wrecked, you know, in PvP, or if it means that we're trying Callus for the 1000th time, but we're trying to meme it with all sidearms, then, you know, like it's there's still things that people just want to come out and just have that Destiny 1, like just the bullshit that Destiny 1, you know, the stuff we used to do.
Right.
And I think that's probably where I get the most attraction on Twitch from, is those people. But obviously, you know, a lot of the hardcore audience, especially the hardcore PvP audience, I don't pull those people because I'm not a competitive PvP player. But I think that there's this, you know, it's funny how now I'm in a very small group of streamers that regularly stream Destiny 2. Yeah. And a game that I love, I now actually get viewers for, which is ridiculous. I never would have thought in a million years. Like, you know, obviously I'm always going to get outplayed by Goth or Lupo or, you know, anybody. Any one of the 400 Destiny content creators that are, you know, been doing this for years. And so it's kind of nice to be able to just meet those people, you know, the same way you meet them at Guardian Con, like I met you, and just get together and say, hey, like, we love this stuff. Like, let's just talk about good, fun things like normal human beings.
Right.
I don't know. That's been my Twitch experience with Destiny 2.
Do you think Bungie is on the right track to put out 2 DLCs that can basically pull a Taken King for Destiny 1? Do you trust them enough with their roadmap?
I think I trust them for the Fall expansion.
Okay. You think it's too late for DLC 2?
Well, if you asked me before Crimson Days, I would say yes.
Yeah, that's another thing we need to talk about is the new Crimson Days.
Those Crimson Days, yeah. I mean, I think that now that you're asking me post Crimson Days, like, I'm kind of like, well, actually, when you wish upon a star. No, I think the DLC 2 has a shot to be awesome. But you have to remember that, like, and anybody has to remember this, and I have to remind myself that as much as we, like, think that, you know, okay, so they see the reception of Osiris, which I thought was fun, but obviously not what the community wanted. Right. At the time. It released at a poor time. Had Curse of Osiris come out at a different time, I think the reception would have been different, but that's not really what we're talking about. But the DLC 2, for all intents and purposes, aside from sandbox tweaks and reward structure, is done. Like, it's been done. I refuse to believe that they launched Curse of Osiris and then they were like, okay, well, let's see how this does, and we'll shape DLC 2 based on Curse. Like, that's stupid. That's not the way that's not development cycle. Yeah. So I think that DLC 2, for the most part, is going to have systems in it that, unless they're live systems like a knockout loot table or, you know, I don't know, the revamp to ornaments and tokens and things. Like, the art assets are done. The story, done. Voice acting, recorded. End game experiences, done. Like, there's not things that are going to change this now, in 2018, for DLC 2. So I don't know. I think that the real opportunity that Bungie has at this point, and the one I hope that they really just hit out of the park is the fall, the big one.
Yeah, that's the important one. That's the one that everyone's going to be looking forward to. I think obviously Taken King did such a good job changing vanilla Destiny into kind of, well, can't say what we know today because some of it's not here anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Destiny, the end of Destiny 1 was very much shaped by Taken King, and besides the big lack of content between that and Rise of Iron, I think Rise of Iron also was a good stepping stone. So
Same. I'd agree.
DLC 2, I agree, is probably 95% done. I think people need to realize that these take months and months of hard work to pull even something like this together, and they're not starting it the day after Osiris launches.
Nope.
So
they're not.
And I finally found the Destiny 2 roadmap. So for May with Season 3, what we are getting: Eater of Worlds Prestige Mode, Seasonal Crucible Rankings, Private Matches, Vault Space Increase, Multi-Emotes, Exotic Masterworks, Seasonal Vendor Progression, Faction Rally Improvements, and then Exotic Weapon and Armor Sandbox changes.
Okay, so the other two that I was a little bit about was besides multi-emote. Okay, the 50 vault slots. That. I'm not going to presume to know, but that seems like something that's.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
I mean, we lived through this in Destiny 1, where every expansion we were praying for more vault space, and they eventually found a way to deactivate something on the PS3, Xbox 360 versions to focus on
vault to inventory compare.
Right. Yeah. So because they were running out of memory to store all this information, so that's definitely something that should have been looked at during Destiny 2's initial development. The other thing, and I'm guessing it's the other one you're going to bring up, is sandbox changes, and why we had to wait 7-8 months for our first initial sandbox changes.
Yeah, I mean that was one. I think I guess if you're going to rebalance the sandbox, I would rather have it all at once. And maybe that one I am okay if I don't think it necessarily should be May, but I get that they're going to want to just do all those, like the big seasonal change all at once, right? Like just drop the biggest patch we've ever seen.
Right.
The one that I was going to mention even more so that just seems small, like the vault space. It was multi-emo, the vault space, and then there was what was right above Masterworks, the exotic Masterworks. What was right above that? Oh, the vendor progression. Progression.
Seasonal vendor progression.
Okay, so I want to talk about this with you because this is one of the things I was hoping we'd get a chance to. I'm so glad that this came around to this because I'd have been mad if I thought of it later.
Hit me.
Okay, so Destiny 1. Mm-hmm. You turn in Vanguard or Crucible. What were they called? They weren't called tokens.
They weren't tokens.
Marks?
They were
marks. Marks.
Marks sounds right.
Okay, sure. So one of those. Yep. You turn in those marks, and eventually you filled a wheel, and you got an engram, or a random drop from the loot table of those vendors, right? That did have a number associated with it when you hovered over, and you could see, okay, I'm rank 60 with Cryptarch or whatever.
Right.
And, when you did factions and things, there were some shaders and whatnot that were locked behind a certain, you had to hit, 38 or 50 or whatever to get this to drop, and the exotic cloak quests from
those were awesome.
Good stuff. So really, they're telling me that right now, and this is where, okay, there's a couple points here. This is gonna go all ADD. You gotta stick with me here.
Gotcha.
So first of all, now we have the token system, and you turn in tokens to fill a bar,
right?
And you get a drop from that person's loot table.
Yep.
Okay, people are upset about the token system. Token system sucks. I hate the token system. It's boring. It's not fun. It's boring. Token system. Get rid of it. Don't use it. It's what was there.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yep.
It just doesn't have a number on it.
Right.
We talked earlier about invalid criticisms. This is the one that grinds my gears the most. I have the least empathy or sympathy or alignment with anyone who says they don't like the token system, because it was exactly what was in Destiny 1 and nobody complained ever.
Literally just a different name.
Not one time. And I don't get it. Because I think it's because they feel like they're being too rewarded. Because it would take, what, how many, with bounties and everything, how many could you turn in a day? Like, would you maybe get 2 rewards in a day?
And that would be like grinding for it.
Yeah. So it was a lot less often, but it's the same system. And then the reason why I don't think it should be delayed until May is because I don't understand why adding a number to the amount of times that bar has been filled is incredibly difficult. And again, I'm not going to presume to know, because I don't know anything about game design, but to me that seems like, okay, you do know how many things I've turned in, because I have milestone rewards that are based on having turned in this many times.
And there's third-party websites that use the Destiny 2 source code that can actually tell me what rank I am with Gunsmith.
Thank you, Dim.
Just put it in the game. Yeah, I don't get that at all.
So I don't know. And I also don't get why people are mad about token systems. So that was the 2 pieces to that conversation I wanted to have with you. And I'm glad that you agree.
I do agree with the argument that the original Iron Banner reward system was terrible. I think Destiny 1's way of, grinding out the, rank 5 and being able to use whatever legendary marks to buy stuff in Destiny 1. Is that what it was? I can't even remember
legendary
something.
No, to buy Xur
to
was
buy
strange
to
coins.
Buy the Iron Banner armor.
Oh, to buy it was like 25 legendary marks. Or no, sorry, it was like 60 legendary marks.
People had I think the right idea, complaining that you couldn't buy armor pieces or weapons from Saladin this time around. And that made them change. This last Iron Banner was the best one they've had for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And that was a, community complaint, and they listened to us. So I think they're getting there. I think their communication in general has been a lot better.
It has. Yeah, I would agree.
In particular has been a saint on Twitter.
Yeah. Bless that man.
And I'm blanking on his name now, but who's the guy that just became community manager?
Oh, DMG.
Yeah, he's been great too over on Reddit and everywhere. So they're getting there. I appreciate their jobs, man. I'm not built for handling the level of assault that this community has, and I thank them very much for doing what they do.
Yeah, they're incredible. They are hardworking guys, and they deserve a lot of recognition. All of them. I mean, Cosmo, Deej, Barrett, DMG.
Yep.
Even Josh Hamrick coming out on Twitter and talking about the sandbox. That's a brave man. That's a brave guy.
Yeah. That's especially with the sandbox, because that's a lot of people like to be angry about the sandbox.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's, I don't know. We could talk about what's good and bad about the sandbox for another 4 hours, but I think
that would last forever.
I think that, it is what it is. I know it's not perfect, but I also I'm still enjoying it. So
you mentioned earlier that you don't mind the team shot mechanic that's or team shot meta, I guess, that's going on right now. Do you like the 4v4, or do you prefer the 6v6?
Well, they talk about Iron Banner 6v6 is coming, and I think that one of the things that scares me about that is that these guys, as much as we say we want 6v6, we also need maps that adequately accommodate a 6v6 environment. And I'm imagining playing 6v6 on a map like Endless Vale.
Yeah.
And I kind of just weep a little bit, because
you
I'm
just
like,
want to cry, right?
you're just going to die all the time.
Yep.
And I think that the team shot mechanic works better in 4v4s. It worked best in Crimson Doubles.
Yeah.
Because you needed it.
Yeah.
And I get what the PvP community is upset about, in that, I can't make big plays. I can't go 1v2. I can't go 1v3. It's impossible to do, big plays and be an all-star. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, Bungie does have maybe they're right to feel a responsibility to want to cater to that audience a little bit. But for people like me that really just want to get on with my friends and have a blast, When we get on a roll because we're communicating and we are doing the team shotting, and maybe we're not the best PvP players ever, but we can win the majority of our games because of the fact that we're playing like a team.
Right.
Then I like being rewarded for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Like that's fun to me. Like that's, when I go cloak and I sneak around because my buddy's in an engagement and I come in and I flank and we start team shotting from a different way and it just ends the fight immediately. Like there's something super gratifying about that. And I do feel like teams that play like teams should be rewarded for playing like teams.
As a super casual Crucible player, I enjoy the 4v4, and it's actually gotten two of my friends into Crucible as opposed to the 6v6 where they played maybe 3 matches and get killed right away and be like, this is stupid, I don't understand what's going on. And the 4v4 is a much slower pace. The time to kill is longer. You can disengage and reevaluate and go back in, and I like that style.
I love it.
And maybe 6v6 Iron Banner could solve that as a trial seasonal thing. But you're right, you absolutely need brand new maps that are catered towards 6v6.
Okay, so we wanted to touch on Crimson Doubles because it's amazing, and I was pretty much happy with everything.
Yeah, and that's kind of weird to say, right?
Right, it's super weird to say. I loved the Crimson Doubles mode. Well, okay, hold on. I was not happy with Shinobu's vow.
Fair. Fair criticism.
I was not happy with Shinobu's vow because it took away a lot of my fun.
Yeah.
But if that had been just tweaked a tiny bit to be a little bit less nade spammy, even if I had a nade 75% as often instead of 100% like what it was,
Right. Yeah.
I think that I would have been more okay with it. But I think the mode as a whole was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't even mind losing. Like I was just like, this is just so fun.
Yeah. I jumped in a lot solo too, actually, because my friends didn't want to play as long, or they weren't free at sometimes. And solo mode, you can get stomped really easily because you can't communicate with a teammate. But when you go in and you like lone wolf it and match up with somebody else, and you just wreck with that other person, it was so fun.
It's so fun. And just like the communication of like, he's right there. Okay, but we're too far apart. We're reunited. We're united as one. And you're just unloading on kids. And then when the other team would get the little markers over their heads because they drifted too far apart, you're like, oh, let's hunt this kid down. He doesn't know what's about to happen.
Yeah, that moment where the other team splits up and you know exactly where they are, but they don't know where you are because you're sticking close to your buddy, and then you just pop up on them and wreck them. It's like, it was so good. It was so fun. And the ability recharge was way more than I thought it was going to be.
Same. But I think that that mode in general, I got my pinkest, most gorgeous armor on, and I dove in with my buddies, and we sang songs, and we listened to Shax's ridiculously hilarious voice lines.
They were great.
I loved it.
They were, talk about Lenny James for a minute, and some dude who I only knew from Walking Dead, and then I found out he'd voice a guy in Destiny, and then he says the most ridiculous things, and
he does.
Whether or not he knows what it's going towards and actually even knows what Destiny is, he goes all out, man.
He goes all out. I read in an interview that he has no clue.
I believe that entirely.
That he has no idea even what Shax looks like. And like what he's actually announcing, like he doesn't even know that he's like really. He says it's it's a competition, right? Like we're about fighting,
right?
And I'm like, if you had any clue the context of which you yell at people,
right?
And then Crimson Doubles, like his little post round quips, where you two flirt with death more than you flirt with each other. Amazing! And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're hitting it, man. This is so good.
Yeah, they had the entire theme was great. Duos aside, the minimal interaction with Eververse was fantastic.
Yeah.
You could not buy Crimson Engrams. You could use Bright Dust on whatever she had that week. Yep. And there was a knockout system, which seems like a no-brainer for any sort of holiday event.
I agree.
I love that they added those PvE rewards. You know, do a nightfall, get an emote. You do the raid, you get that thing.
Yep.
You know, I think all around they were really in the right place with that, and I guess I don't know what the next holiday event would be, but I hope they build upon that, because they really fixed what the Dawning was.
Yep.
With that.
The only thing I wish that Crimson Days had was a class item. I would have loved to have somebody brought up the idea of like a really awesome velvety looking hunter cape with a rose stitched into it. And I was like, I would have grinded infinitely.
Yeah.
To have the chance at that as a drop. Like I would have, and like they thought, you know, like around your hood you could have like thorny bits, and I was like, oh my goodness, like if this was an idea that had gotten executed on, and like it was a real thing that I would have just. Yeah,
I think a piece. Yeah, class item would be the easiest kind of like armor thing to do for that. So yeah, they need something like that. I liked the grind for the PvP exotic sparrow.
Yes, that was good. That was good.
That was good. Again, I wish there was a way to reroll perks on those, because I got trash perks on it, so I won't use it now.
Summon.
I don't even know how long we've been recording, but that was a great conversation.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah.
It's so nice to talk to somebody about Destiny 2 and not have them just be like, I don't know, man, the game's stupid. Like, It's just nice and refreshing to just talk about a game that's fun and recognize that it's not perfect.
Yep.
But recognize that there are things that are going right. And, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Teej, where can people find you?
Oh my goodness. Teej can be found on the internets. I stream on Twitch. My username on there is BigDaddyTeej. That's TEEJ. BigDaddyTeej, all one word. You can find me at BDTeej on Instagram and Twitter. And if you turn out that you watch the stream and you love our community, we have a Discord. So,
ooh.
Yeah.
I'm not even part of that. I got to join that one.
You got to join that one, man. I'll send you an invite.
Yeah, send me an invite. Great, man. Thank you for the conversation. We will, I'm sure, have another one soon.
Definitely. Let me know anytime.
Yeah, you got my info now, so hit me up. But thank you again.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk soon.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, man. We'll catch you later.
All right. Peace.
See ya.